How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Reptile-verse. My name is Grant DeYoung, and in today's video, I'm bringing you a reptile room tour. 2021 is about over. Not be missed. Goodbye, 2021. And I thought I'd show you where the reptile room is. I know I did do a reptile room tour earlier in this year. I'm counting this as my 2022 reptile room tour because 2022 is not that far away. It's like a week. So let's get right into all the animals because I know that's what you're here for. Alright, not going to spend too much time on this guy, but this is the yellow Anaconda. I'm not going to talk too much about him because I just posted a video all about him on Monday. So, he's doing good. He's adjusted well. I'm going to feed him today. But yeah, this is his enclosure. If you didn't see that video, I'm going to put a link to it, by the way, so you can go check that out. Just as feisty and nippy as ever. I'll put some B-roll of him going over so you can see how beautiful he is when he's not burrowed, because that's his favorite thing to do. Alright, so here moving right along, this is my reticulated python, James. He is a 25% Jamp dwarf retic. He's also a platinum morph and het for albino and blonde. As you can see, being a Jamp retic, as well as having that platinum, he's got an incredible pattern. He's got a little bit of stuck shed. So I'm going to take care of that after this video. And then I'm going to feed him because he's the only animal that I have really that I can mess with him all I want and then feed him. And he'll take food right away. Yeah, he's a stunning animal and I absolutely love him. Such a joy to have in the collection and I cannot wait to have more retics in the future. He's great at programs and he has never once refused a meal for me. So that's great. Stay tuned, be sure to subscribe because in 2022 he's going to be getting a big upgrade. So in here you can see the man, another one of my favorite animals in the collection. This is my Burmese Python Sirius. I'm probably going to say that every animal is one of my favorites in the collection because I love them all. He's getting a little excited because he thinks it is feeding time. And I mean, that's partially true. I do have rodents thawing out in the next room over. But I love the big constrictors. You can really see when you're working with constrictors like boas and burms and retics that they are really, really... these stupid doors. You can really see how intelligent they are, especially James up here, that retic. He is incredibly smart. And I love working with smart animals. It's so much fun. Alright, so here we are moving down right below the berm. We have my Boa Constrictor Zuko. He's in this 4-foot enclosure that I've custom built myself. Not the best craftsmanship, but it works for now. I'm going to be buying in a bunch of new enclosures in the next year. So they're all going to get upgrades. But he's another great animal. Boa Constrictors are my favorite group of snakes. Boas and pythons are my favorite reptiles, but boas in general, having the common boas like Zuko here, you can see that stunning pattern that he's got. And they just have that classic boa constrictor head and look. Loves food like the classic boa constrictor, of course. But that's part of the reason why I love them. I remember seeing these guys on the crocodile hunter when I was a little kid and being absolutely fascinated with them. It is such a privilege to be able to own these animals that I've loved since I was a little kid. Alright, I can't get a great shot of this snake because she's tucked under there, and not only is it feeding day, but she's also not doing too great. This is my ball python Dark Eyes. She's my first snake. I got her a decade ago, if you can believe that. I've had this snake for 10 years. She's in this Boa Master 4-foot enclosure. I use a radiant heat panel for heat. The reason why she doesn't have a light in here is because the LED strip that I have in here went out. So I'm just replacing that. I've already ordered a new one. But she's kind of a special case right now because the problem I have with these Boa Masters, the edges of these enclosures are very, very rough, and she actually scratched herself and got wounds on the underside of her chin just rubbing against this. So definitely not going to be using this in the future for any animals, because I don't want that to happen again. But the reason why she's still in here is, like I said, I am buying all new enclosures. And enclosures have an incredibly long lead time, unfortunately. Yeah, that's my ball python. Love ball pythons, they're awesome. A lot of people think that they're overrated snakes or they're bad snakes for beginners. I disagree with both of those. I think they're a little bit more complicated than the average beginner snake, but they're not bad. They're wonderfully tempered. Housing them isn't too complicated, but yada yada yada. Let's get on to the next animal. Alrighty, so as you can see here, this is my sleeping little tegu. Don't want to bother him too much because he is currently brewmating. Although I am about to bother him because I'm about to change his water. This is Ned Stark. He was actually my first pet lizard. I would not recommend tegus as a first pet lizard. But there you go. He's another awesome animal that I love interacting with. Again, I'm not going to bother him too much because I don't want to mess with him because he's brewmating. This is his enclosure. It's an 8 foot by 4 foot that I custom built. I got a little palm tree in there, honeysuckle branch, and some rocks under his heat spot. But yeah, so tegus, definitely my favorite group of lizards. I also really like monitor lizards, but tegus are definitely my favorites. But yeah, so going back to enclosures, I wish that tegus didn't need such a big enclosure, because I do need an 8 foot by 4 foot at least, because they're such great animals. If they didn't need this big of an enclosure, because, I mean, this takes up the biggest footprint in my reptile room by far. If they didn't need this much space, I'd probably have more of them. And I'm going to be building him a custom outdoor enclosure. It's going to be 10 feet by 10 feet by 6 feet. So definitely stay tuned for that. Coming in the spring, he's going to be housed outside during the summer, during the warmer months when he can be housed outside, and then brought back in here during the cooler months. Yeah, that is Stark, everybody. You may be wondering where the African house snake is, by the way, because he used to be right here. I sold him because I'm getting an animal in 2022 and I just need to make room. The house snake is not a species that I'm ever going to breed or use at programs because he wasn't friendly at all. So just because of that, I sold him. Some people don't like the idea of selling animals to make room for more animals, but I mean, he went to a home where the person loves that species and she's going to take really good care of him. So, win-win. So right here is the last animal in the reptile room. This is actually my quarantine room, not really my reptile room. So this is Guinevere, my Cuban false chameleon. This is a relatively new animal. I think I got her this month or the end of last month, but there's a video all about her when I picked her up, and she's also the animal that I set up this misting system for. So far I love having her. She's a really interesting animal. I'm surprised that not as much is known about these animals. I've only really ever seen them on Snake Discovery's channel, but I think that they should be on some other channels too. I know Weekends with Good Reptiles has also mentioned them, but they're supremely underrated. Only thing that's really difficult with them is the feeding, because she basically only eats snails. She might occasionally eat crickets, but snails are nasty. I don't like them as feeders, but whatever I gotta do for you, girl. That's a look at her enclosure, by the way. It's a bioactive. Well, not really bioactive. It's naturalistic. I'm putting eye spots in here in a few days. But yeah, that is Guinevere, my Cuban false chameleon. What's funny also is their camouflage is so good that I came up here to start filming, and it literally did take me a minute to find her, because I was just looking at it like this and I just couldn't pick her out. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to click the like button, show support for the stuff that I'm doing on this channel, and also subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to see the future animals that I'm getting, the builds that are going to happen, and all the new enclosures that are going to go on downstairs. Definitely stay tuned for that, because it's all super exciting stuff. I can't wait to get to it. In the links below in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord server, a link to my Patreon, and a link to US Ark. Go support them. Without US Ark, I wouldn't be able to keep any of the animals that I have downstairs. Definitely show them some love. There's some new law changes coming in North Carolina, so definitely go show your support to US Ark so we can help fight those, so that they don't pass, so that people down there can still keep their wonderful animals. And I think that's absolutely everything I have to talk about today. So, happy holidays, and I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out, YouTube.